My name is Laura Barrett, and I am the Manager of Energy and Climate Action with the City of Victoria. And I'd like to just welcome everyone to our official opening for these fast charging stations in Victoria neighbourhoods. This is the first of many we have planned at the city. I think over 30 that we'll see in the next 5 years in various Victoria neighbourhoods. So very exciting. We're really glad to have everyone here for this special occasion. Joining us today, we have Acting Mayor Marianne Alto. We have representatives from the community, city staff, as well as members from the Victoria EV Association. And so we have a little bit of a program today. We have a few speakers. We're going to do a sort of ceremonial plug-in and a photo. So first, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Acting Mayor Marianne Alto. She's going to share a few words.
Thanks, Laura. I love it when I get applause before I speak. Yeah. Maybe I should stop now. As Laura said, it's really important for us to acknowledge where we're standing today. We're standing here, of course, in the traditional territories of the Lekwungen people, the Songhees and Esquimalt. And when we look around a day like this, it's just so easy to see what a privilege it is for us all to be here. So I ask you to reflect on that. This is a super exciting day, I have to say, because as Laura said, this is the first of a very large number of what will be public and community sources for electric charging. 30 in the next 5 years, as I understand it, so building on what we've already done, the infrastructure that we have in our parkades, and we'll be looking now to actually make these something that everyone who wants to have an EV car can actually access in a public place. So we'll be really close to buildings like this, multiple story buildings and different types of locations where you don't necessarily have to be a resident, so you have some access for your community by community centers and whatnot. So this really begins the time when electric vehicle charging is accessible. We have, as I'm sure most of you certainly in the car club know, one of the highest rates of electric vehicle ownership and the desire to be owners in the country. And yes, it's now such a big thing that there's quite a long wait most places to get them, but I think that just goes to show that this is the wave of the future, and these are the vehicles that will be driving more and more and more until eventually we actually no longer have vehicles like sadly the one I drove in on, the Subarus, which will now become kind of ancient things. And that is a good thing. When I think of what my kids will be having when they look forward to a future of still being able to have a vehicle where they do have some ownership over it, and it's not necessarily always about public transportation, these are the only things that will be left. And that is a very positive outcome for the future, I think, of our community, but not too boldly to say for the future of our planet. So it's super exciting that the city is moving in this direction. I'm just thrilled to be here today to open this particular one, first of many, as Laura says, and I think it's great that you're all here to support that as well. You know, and just as an aside, you know, it's people like you who are so committed to being part of this movement who make it possible for people like me at the city to actually justify putting in this type of infrastructure. So without your support and without really your advocacy, we wouldn't be able to move as quickly as we have. And so we'll be continuing to do that and accelerating this type of infrastructure, and that can only be good for all of us. So thank you all for your advocacy and your work and your participation. And yeah, let's make it work.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And then next, I'd like to introduce the president of the Electric Vehicle Association, David Grove, to say a few words about it.
Thank you very much. 10 years ago, almost 11, I bought my first Nissan Leaf. So this is a feeling of like a 10-year celebration. There's been a big change, a huge uptick, and recently an amazing number of vehicles. As was mentioned earlier about the demand for electric cars is exceeding production capacity. I was standing here earlier and I'm thinking, you know, it's been a long, dry stretch, and I'm kind of looking forward to the autumn rains because we know the sun makes the rain happen and fills our reservoirs so that power generated can flow into these vehicles and drive quietly, quick, and smooth down the streets. I'm so pleased to be a part of this. I want to thank City of Victoria for their leading role, really, in the response to the advocacy that we do try to make. And I want to also point out the CRD Charge Your Ride event is here, and all of this comes together to help boost the transition to alternate energy future.
Give it a plug.
All right. Give it a push. Oh, there we go.
There you go.